It's Thanksgiving week. Let's go. We're
Monday.
feasting good, people, because we have a lot to talk about on the podcast this week. Just uh a lot to a lot to talk about in general, but what better way to kick off the holiday week than calling out Justin because we we gotta get to the bottom of this, Justin.
Calling me out for
Last
what?
night we so we were recording at like 12 the day after we were gonna record, which isn't a big deal.
hmm
I'm up, I'm ready, I'm doing this thing. But last night you went to the movies.
Yeah, I
That's
went to
all
go
I
see the
thought this
Marvels.
was. You
I
went
went
to
to
the
go
movies with some
see
friends.
Marvels. Well, yeah. The day was pretty eventful. That morning I went Christmas shopping. And then after that, we went to the movies, and I went to go. I just went to go eat. That was it. That was supposed to
Yeah,
be the
yeah.
entire
About
day.
like 6 hours later, I, this guy texts me and a couple other friends, and he's like, "Well, I got my nose and ears pierced."
Yeah, I did. So
What
that's you can
happened?
see obviously that piercing there, and then I have my ear and my other ear pierced. Yeah, we were just like I had talked about. I was earlier that day. I was talking about wanting to get my ears pierced, and eventually getting it pierced. But we were sitting down at dinner, and they were basically just like, "You should go and do it," and I was just like, "Man, I don't know." So, but you know, the only shop open on a Sunday that was open till 1 a.m. Okay, it was like 9 o'clock at night. They were open, and we were just like, it was just like, okay, let's go do it. I did it. I signed the form and everything, and I was so nervous. Like my literally like it was like that feeling of a roller coaster. My heart was sinking into my chest. But I signed everything, and then I went and I did it, and it was I wasn't planning on getting my nose pierced honestly, but it was buy two get one free. So
I just he saw the Black Friday deal and he said, "You know what? We're doing it
it wasn't even a
all."
Black Friday deal. Like that shop just does that. It's just it's like a year round thing.
Did it? I don't. I haven't gotten my ear pierced. I got my ear pierced when I was 4. It was the last piece
Mhm.
of jewelry I got inserted into my body. Does it hurt? Did the piercings hurt?
No, it didn't hurt. No,
I don't
my
remember.
ears didn't. My ears didn't hurt at all. Like it literally when she like did it, I really expected something like worse. And she was like breathe in and breathe out. I really didn't feel anything. Like it didn't even like people were describing it as like a harsh pitch. It doesn't even feel like that. It just feels like somebody like when you get like a certain jolt or something. The nose was the one that was like hurt a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, it just like because there's a lot more like flesh there to like pierce through, and it was harder. So it's just like, but it was all fine in the end. Like after that, it was chill. It was yeah. So
We always talk on the podcast about how impulsive we are as human beings, and I think this is the epitome of what we mean when we say we're impulsive.
hmm
Uh, so yeah, I mean, Justin's going through his piercings phase currently. We'll see what happens next. Next week
I don't
he's gonna
think I
show
think
up
this is
with purple hair.
no. I think this is it. I think this is it for me.
I've always wanted to dye my hair. I think it'd be fun. I'm done
You need to
making
you need like a
deals,
new
but
hairstyle. You guys, I've been friends with Jeremy for a very long time, and Jeremy's had this same hairstyle for ever since I met him.
except during
You know,
COVID,
yeah,
it got
except during
crazy.
COVID, that was the only time
Maybe
he had longer
I
hair.
saw a photo yesterday. I was like, well, I don't know if I missed that. I kind of do miss that hair, but I don't know. But maybe I'll post it on social media so you guys can see what I look like with like a lot more bushy hair. But this is about I keep it. I love this length of dirty blonde. It just I feel like it really brings out my personality, you know?
Yeah, perhaps, maybe.
Welcome back to the Fragmented Zone, people. I'm Jeremy. This is Justin. This is the podcast where we break into the pop culture multiverse. And like I said earlier, there's a lot to talk about. If you want to support us, it is the holiday season. If you're feeling thankful for the content we bring you. If you're feeling like giving back a little bit, you can support us over on Patreon for as low as like $3 now. What? There's a bunch of different tiers. Go check that out. Whether you're listening, make sure to support the podcast so this can get pushed out to more people. I'd love to be able to do this full time one day because I love doing this podcast. Maybe it's a possibility. So yeah, well, okay. First, let's kick it off with, I wish I had like sounds I could like, it's yay nay time. I want to bring that back. I wish I could like trigger. You know what? Next week I'll add to our soundboard for when we do different segments. But let's kick it off with what's good, what's bad, yay nay. I'll go first since I'm already on a roll of talking. So you just sit there and be quiet for a second. My yay for this week is Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the Netflix anime series from the world of the Scott Pilgrim graphic novels. Also kind of an adaptation of Edgar Wright's specific world of Scott Pilgrim. Edgar Wright, one of my all-time favorite directors. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, one of my all-time favorite movies. Of course, I had to binge this anime this weekend, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think the big problem for a lot of people, spoiler alert, Justin, you should totally check this out. I know you're not as high on Scott Pilgrim as I am. We never really talked about it, but you got to check this out. But I will say, they weren't kidding about the title Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, because one of the big problems you see on the internet, people are like, why did they do this? Why did they do this? After the first episode, there is one major thing missing, and it's Scott Pilgrim. And that's for most of the series. You don't have Scott Pilgrim there for whatever reason, whatever happens. You gotta, like I said, I'm not getting into spoilers because it is fresh off the boat this weekend, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But that did not bother me. This was a new take on this story, a really interesting take on this story. I love what they did. You got to spend time with some of the other characters and expand that world more. I think it did a really good job with the anime style. The musical sequences were great. The action sequences were great. It was colorful, chaotic, captured the energy that is Scott Pilgrim, the total randomness. And in fact, I think it even expanded on the chaos of this world even more. The cast, they brought everybody back. Edgar Wright brought in some of his friends. I mean, there's Nick Frost and why am I blanking on the guy's name? Simon Pegg. Yeah, so they're actually in the series too. They got everybody: Michael Cera, Mary Winstead, Chris Evans, Brie Larson, and clearly they had a great time revisiting this experience. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. I was satisfied. I loved it. I lesbianed it. I lesbianed it. That's the L word, people. My nay for the week. I'm glad Scott Pilgrim came out because I needed a distraction from the money I wasted on a certain game, The Walking Dead Destinies. Listen, I thought this game, we've talked about this game on the podcast very extensively, and I thought it had a lot of potential. That was until I found out that it was from Game Mill Entertainment, the same publishers behind the Kong Skull Island game. That may be one of the worst games of all time. And I don't understand why AMC hates us. I don't know why they don't want to put in a budget into a good TWD game that isn't Telltale based. Something set in the AMC Walking Dead universe would be great. If you don't know what Walking Dead Destinies is, you're carving your own fate in the story. You go back, play through the first 4 seasons. As 13 different characters, you build your own world. You kind of retell your own story. And what a flop, because it's bad. It's really bad. The graphics are terrible, but that's not even the worst part. The game, it's unplayable. It's genuinely unplayable and it's disgusting. And I'm not even trying to go this hard on these guys. I'm sure they've heard enough criticism. But I think their publishing studio should be shut down,
They
honestly.
deserve it. You can't make you can't make Kong Skull Island and hear the bad reviews from that and then turn around and just do the same thing with The Walking Dead.
I
That's not how
just
this works.
I I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna try to push through more of the game just so I can get my money's worth. I want to experience what they've done with the concepts and the story, but I'm offended as a Walking Dead fan, honestly. At least we're getting Rick and Michonne next year because it looks really good, and I'm excited. So, win
2/18,
lose
right? I think. Or what was it?
February, yeah, 19th sounds right.
Hmm.
Okay, go ahead. What's your yay nay this week? I was talking a lot. I had a lot of thoughts. Go ahead.
My yay this week is Captain or the Marvels.
Captain Marvel
You know,
2 though works.
I enjoyed this movie. I really did. This movie was it was pretty good. It's not my favorite movie in the world, but I don't think it deserves the hate that it got. I thought it was really fun. I absolutely loved this trio together and just the vibe that they had with practicing and the fight scenes. I think the fight scenes and the choreography in this movie
Yeah.
were like top tier back in the day Marvel type of stuff. I thought it was wonderful with them switching roles into other people's bodies and then that one and then the whole training montage and then um, the fight towards the end. I thought it was all great. I thought Aman Vellani really did such a good job, and I thought she was a star of this movie, really standing out. And I thought it was just a great time to explore space a little bit more, and kind of fill in the gaps for Captain Marvel because there was some issues there. Um, Big spoiler warning if you hadn't seen it yet, but the X-Men were in this movie in a mid-credit scene. Um, we got Monica when she traveled through the universe and she ended up staying on the other side, in which I guess on that other side exists the X-Men and Beast, who is came in and was checking on Monica, which was pretty cool. It wasn't as exciting as I would have liked for it to be because the internet nowadays and spoilers, it was just, I expected something to happen. So if it didn't happen, I would have been a little bit more like weirded out. But, I still thought it was good. I still thought it was a cool introduction. We got Kate Bishop in there, Haley Steinfeld coming back. And I thought that was really cool. Obviously, seeing her, I like the idea of like, she was just out there doing work. Like I like the idea that these characters are actually still being involved in the universe and not just like sitting around in their own respected things. Um, I've been debating because this movie, I'm not the biggest fan of this long movie like franchise thing that people are doing, right? Now most of the times when it's a super long movie, it's a historic type of ordeal. Like I'm pretty sure how long is Napoleon?
I don't know. Probably
It's
like
probably gonna
three
be it's probably
hours.
gonna be a long movie. Oppenheimer is a long movie. All these and they deserve to be. There's a story that you have to tell so much, and it's a beautiful piece, and these directors really have to like get their stuff correct, right? But you get other movies that are like taking their stance on it that really don't need to be that long. So an hour and 45 minutes for a movie is great, but there are also some things that I would have liked to see
Yeah.
touched on more in this. Monica and Carol's relationship is something I definitely would have liked to see more. Um, you know, for Captain Marvel 2, I would have liked to see more Captain Marvel input, like in like
Yeah.
filler on her storyline and where she was like going at. But between um between Kamala and between Monica and all of them, I thought this movie was great. I thought it was really established these characters and their relationship, and setting up the Young Avengers. I thought is great. I think it's a great point moving forward. Calling back to you know what I can't remember her name. Whatever. Scott Lang's daughter. Um,
Cassie.
you know, calling back to all of that, I think is great. So, the movie was good. It definitely does not deserve any of the hate that it's getting. Go watch it. It's
Yeah,
just a time.
for sure. I I will counter that in a minute, and I kind of want to dive a little deeper because there's some other thoughts and some things I want to talk about. But what's your nay?
My nay this week is the Lindet chocolate maker man. This guy, there's
This
something
is so.
satanic
What
about
did
him.
this guy? What did this
All
guy do
right.
to you?
There's something evil in his eyes. You can see it. He needs to chill out. All right. There's something
Dude, those
wrong
chocolates are
here.
really good though.
There's something wrong with him. There's like you look, bro. Like I don't think y'all are fully. Y'all need to like look up this man yourself and like look into those eyes, and tell me that's not Satan.
Do you think he's like the Willy
Okay.
Wonka of the real world?
I think that he is the Satan of our real world, and maybe that is what Willy Wonka was. So, or really, he's just a chocolate maker. Like we're not claiming that this guy is the one who is like the Almighty. He's just a regular. There's like 50,000 other chocolate makers they have.
But those
What makes him
chocolate
so
makers are
special?
part of a system,
Yeah.
a
So
twisted
that's my nay
system.
this week. I don't trust that guy one bit.
I said that I've never tried. Last episode we had a whole conversation. I've never tried 100% dark chocolate, and I couldn't find any. But I will. I haven't really. I've been really busy with work and everything. I'm gonna get some good dark chocolate, and we're gonna do a mukbang or something. I don't know. I wish we. I wish we did that this episode since it is the Thanksgiving special. We just had a whole feast of Thanksgiving stuff. We should have brought in the stuffing and the beans and everything else. Okay, uh, let's just get into it because I feel a lot more comfortable being able to talk about movies and shows that are out because the SAG strikes are over. I believe that actors or members of SAG-AFTRA are still in the process of approving this new deal and signing these contracts, but an agreement between the big bad studios and the actors were reached, which is amazing. Is this the end of problems in Hollywood? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There will definitely be more. This is a step in the right direction to protecting actors from AI, to getting actors, writers, and everything in between the respect they deserve, to not have the big studios keeping all of the profits and all of the power to themselves. But with that said, the actor strike ended right when the Marvels dropped. So we waited a week, to get people who've seen it. Well, okay, no, they haven't, but they're not going. We can talk about it now. We can talk about it now. Yes, uh, I thought the movie was fun too. I think that's the bottom line for me. It's a good time in the theater. It was a great experience. I saw it opening night with a lot of hardcore fans, and they were laughing, they were cheering. It was fun. And then, of course, you get two huge things at the end. You get the ending building up to Young Avengers, which is going to be one of my favorite parts of the new MCU. I've been really excited for Young Avengers. Kevin Feige, if you need a Hulkling, I am here. I am not gay, but I it's acting. It's acting. I'm not saying I want to take this this role away from people of the LGBTQ plus community, but if I
I'm gonna
if
be
the
honest.
opportunity comes,
I'm gonna
I'm
be
not
honest.
saying that I wouldn't.
I don't even think they're gonna be doing a
Yeah,
Hulkling
that's true.
in this.
I
I
think
think if
I think
anything, they're
Scar is
gonna.
going to take that spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. If Scar
But
actually
I
ever
think Hulkling
talks,
and Wiccan have such a legendary relationship. It's such a big part of Marvel Comics because, of course, he's the Emperor of the Scrolls. With the Scrolls story going on, and they did Secret Invasion, it seems so weird to not have the Wiccan and Hulkling relationship in the MCU. That's just eliminating a popular thing, and it seems kind of anti-diversive, honestly. But
gay is gay.
that's
Anybody can be
true.
gay. You can be
Yeah.
gay. I
I
can be
I
gay.
I don't want to see Scar's stupid haircut again, but
That is horrific. Don't ever put that on screen, Kevin Feige. I'm
I would be
coming after you,
interested
dude.
in seeing.
I don't know what your deal
Uh,
is. Okay, but don't ever in your life.
and then in the mid-credit scene, there wasn't a post-credit scene, just the mid-credit scene. We see Maria Hill, part of the X-Men, along with Beast, the original actor. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't right now. But I'm like blanking today. This is too early to be recording the podcast. Okay, it's fine. Uh, you were saying that the CGI on Beast was rough, and I was
It
kind of locked in
was.
the moment and just like
It
I didn't even
was.
notice. But
Y'all, like it
I went
doesn't.
back and I was like, okay, yeah, it's
And
pretty.
my thing with Beast being rough is that, I needed a middle ground, right? The X-Men Beast that we got that was full on makeup um was okay. It was okay. Okay. And this Beast that we got is okay. All right. They're both, but I just need something in the middle. I need a half CGI, half real thing, and really this just looks like full CGI. Um but I get it. He's a lot brighter. He's a lot fuller. He's a lot bigger. Um, and that's kind of what we need from Beast. So I can obviously put that past everything. And with these movies really need to start getting creative because they're like spanning out of the CG is getting weird because when you have this movie was so much CG packed, right? And that's
And
not
it
a
was very
complaint at all.
inconsistent.
It
A
needed
lot
to
of it,
be.
some of it was good, some of it was bad.
But I'm saying that these movies need to start bringing that movie magic back. All right, where stuff doesn't need to be CG and it can be practical for the sake of per holding it out for the actual parts that need critical CGI.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
because
I've never been really I think a lot of people just hate on CGI because it's CGI. Like you could be really good. Like I've talked about how the house in Parasite is like 90% CGI and no one bats an eye. People hate on these big blockbusters for overusing CGI to tell a story, to keep things hidden, to do it how they want to do it. And honestly, I think if it looks good, then it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, Marvel has been very inconsistent with a lot of these projects. And I think there are things they could do practically. I also think that the practical magic that you're referring to is very real. A lot of the marketing for Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer was that he recreated the atomic bomb explosion, and that made people want to go see it.
yeah,
I think people still think practical stuff is cool, and I think you can get away with doing practical
there's
stuff.
so much. I think there's a special part about stuff being like practical, and it's just like you have to put these people in a certain world where you can disband this like idea of belief and you kind of get the idea that whatever you're putting on screen as like movie magic is a choice and not a cheap alternative, right? You can do these like certain scenes with stuff and like have it be like maybe like stop motion or whatnot or something here and there and not have it be like, oh, cheap, I don't want to use CGI, but have it be a creative choice in which, hey, I want to show this story but I don't want to overdo it, so let's
Right.
do this instead. I think there's so much room for all of that. I think a lot more of it needs to be told. I know the bigger these movies get, um the more CG is needed to make it hop from page to screen, but at the same time, like I just know like Secret Wars is gonna be a cluster of like a
Yeah.
lot of like CG ness, and I'm prepared
Right.
for it, but we need to start thinking of ideas to like get out of that realm if you can't keep it consistent.
That's why the Deadpool 2 set photos just made me so excited. I'm glad that movie's back in production because they're really fighting on these big sets. You have a great looking Deadpool and a great looking Wolverine together, and that's like the practicalness of it is exciting because it feels fresh. It feels like we haven't gotten that in a while. Like I said, not a CGI hater at all, but I also think that taking advantage of opportunities where you could do bigger practical things is also eliminating some of the work from these animators that have been so hustled over the past few years with these big studios. Remember, there's talk of unionizing. I don't really know what happened. I'm surprised there wasn't an animator strike. I mean, they can't because the union wasn't in place at the time. But these guys just spent a lot of time away from their families only for these projects to get absolutely burned by the internet, and that sucks. A lot of work gets put into these things, and I feel like they could put their focus towards more specific things if we eliminated the use of over CGI. I mean, there are definitely things in movies where I'm like, you didn't need to do that CGI. Like you could
I
have
have to
done.
believe, like I have to believe as well that it can't not be easier for everyone on the crew involved. Like you look at, and this is no hate. I'm with Jeremy. I'm not a CGI hater, and I'm just taking a very necessary standpoint on this. But when you look at stuff like The Little Mermaid and that entire film, like you know how much like acting and like it takes for you to really immerse in that world with everything around you,
Yeah,
and really look into that, especially for directors. Like you're trying to build this vision, and right now you can't even see the vision laid out in front of you because it's literally all blue screen. You're just looking at blue blank walls and blue blobs on screen until you can actually go after it and get the visual effects. All you can do is type it out and you have that vision in your mind, but you can't see it on set like you can with older movies that didn't use this much CGI.
correct.
Um, so there's a lot of respect for everybody like involved with directors, actors, and everything. But you know, I have to believe that at some point it has to be easy for you guys to like not use as much CGI as you want to and just step back and be like, how else can I do this?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a global problem. Too. I don't know if you have seen about the kind of problems at Mappa in Japan, the creators behind Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen. But Jujutsu Kaisen season two, I am a big Jujutsu Kaisen fan. I haven't really gotten into season two much yet, but I loved the first season. I love that world, and I'd love to get into Attack on Titan too. But Jujutsu Kaisen season two halted production because the animators stepped away. Because there's just so much content being pushed out. I think I think this CGI conversation comes down to that the same conversation that you're getting with the anime world. And I don't want to talk about it too much because I have to do more research on the Mappa situation, but I know the working conditions are bad and they don't deserve that because the work they do is amazing. But I think it comes down to in both conversations that studios get this idea in their head that's all wrong. And that's quality over or quantity over quality. They're pushing out so much, they try to rush it with all the CGI. Like, give me this so we can produce another epic. And I don't think that's working anymore. We could talk about Marvel being in shambles all we want, but it it doesn't matter. Let's focus on the facts. And the facts are the Marvels just had a 79% drop in its second week in box office, which, if you didn't know, is the largest for a comic book movie in film history. I don't know if superhero fatigue exists, but what's the point of overproducing content and overworking your animators if the content isn't going to hit as hard because there's too much of it? And I think that's a conversation these big studios need to have. Let's work on something that's really good, take our time, give them quality before we talk about quantity. Because personally, I think, sorry, I'm like on a big rant right now, but quantity doesn't even seem to matter in the MCU as much right now. There are a lot of stories to tell, but one of my biggest problems coming out of the Marvels, and I don't know if you noticed this, but this has bothered me these past couple of years going into the Kang arc and the multiverse story. They've literally done the multiverse in 80 different ways. It's never once been connected. Now in the Marvels, the way we see the X-Men has nothing to do with Loki. It has nothing to do with Spider-Man No Way Home. It has nothing to do with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's just another way of doing the multiverse. These creators are all, there is no connective tissue in the MCU. Some writers understand little details, and we'll talk about that with Loki. But in reality, I don't even think if the quantity isn't creating this connected world that you want and it's all over the place, why not bring all of those creatives together to produce more limited stories that could, you know, keep it
And Kevin
feeling
Feige,
like a
don't think
franchise.
and Kevin Feige, don't think you're getting out of this, dude. All right, we have a lot of respect for you, but this is kind of like your whole job, is to like be the overseer of this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. And
All right, and it
he
kind
really
of looks like
sucks at it right now.
it's in shambles right now. So Kevin
He's
Feige,
so focused on making it Earth 666, not Earth
mm-hmm.
666. I don't know why I said that. He
Earth
actually,
six
yeah,
six six
it is.
demon,
Marvel is Earth 66. That's a
Earth
perfect
616. Yeah,
Earth 616.
Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
Don't you just there's always time to step back. Like I know I hate that you are overarching Disney, all right? Like I hate that Disney is just creeping up everyone's skin, all right? I don't respect Disney as a practice
yeah,
and who they are, but like I'm so serious. At some point, like we'll back you, man. We need consistent stories
right.
that like align. Like I'm just
And I am all for creative freedom. I love that Kevin Feige gives these films, puts these films in the hands of the creatives. That's why we're getting to see new things with Marvel. That's why we're getting to see um, more mature and rated R titles. And because Kevin Feige trusts in the creative, the filmmakers that he enlists. But at the same time, I think things are kind of a mess and things are all over the place. And there needs to be order. Kevin, what are you doing? Where's the
bring
order, Kevin?
order,
What's
bring
under
order.
that hat, Kevin?
And speaking with things, because I think we've been on this rampage for a hot minute, but it's kind of like a little transition um into the speaking of like stuff and producing content and whatnot. Adidas, I want you to listen to me closely, okay? I don't want you touching Spider-Man 3. I don't want you touching any other thing that Insomniac has to do. Because the fact that you gave us that suit for marketing purposes will never sit right with my soul. Ever. Alright?
Yeah.
I don't know who was in your entire domain of existence, but that should be illegal. Should be wrong. You should be ashamed of yourselves for even making it. This could have been so great for you. Like if someone just sat down and actually made a right whole decision, okay, before just jumping and doing what you did, you could have
Uh,
had something.
yeah, we live in a world of just that's fueled by marketing. Adidas took over Spider-Man 2. Snoop Dogg quit smoke, but really,
And now there's
it was just
age
over a
restriction on
smoke
Fortnite.
sign. Yeah. Ooh, that's a big thing. I didn't even put that in the notes for this episode. I forgot about that. Yeah, Epic Games was under a lot of fire for that. All for
As
the
they
sake of
should be.
marketing themselves to be family friendly, to not hear it from parents. They don't want to deal with the crap. But the reality is, I think it does feel very scammy to have all these skins that you can buy in the game and you can't use them
And
100% fully in the experiences that are in the game. And also,
it's like
they're
a
sort of age restrict
75
emotes.
it's like a 75-25 split that we're getting here. I mean, Epic, if you're going to roll out something like this, at least be ready, okay? From what I've heard, most of the skins that people have their lockers, are not going to be able to be used during this event. And now you want to come out after you already released the update talking about, oh, we're gonna be improving skins to where if it's gonna be E, then there'll be certain things taken off, like guns in this. Why did you not do that before you released the update? Why did you not think about that before you release something? You're talking about an event in which a lot of people came back to watch for, and now you're telling them that half the skins that they use can't, half the skins that they bought with actual physical money cannot be used in the game any longer. And what I talk about with the 725 split is that sure, the 25% that we get better skins, we get more interesting skins that yes, invincible. We can get Mortal Kombat, bloodier stuff, this and that. But at what point, like, do you think to yourself, like, hey, maybe we're straying too far from what we got? You are successful. You've been successful before this. I don't think this is going to bring in any more children than it did before. I think
Yeah.
parents already have their minds made up about what this game is and that they were going to let their child play it or not. Okay, Epic. So like,
And I think it's ironic in a way because a lot of Epic Games profits comes from like 7 to 10 year olds wanting to buy the cool skins, wanted to spend their parents' money on cool skins in the game. So I don't understand the approach. Also because if I'm going into a private game with friends and I already own these outfits, I've already accessed them. I don't understand why they're restricted. The approach doesn't make any sense. And it seems to me that Epic Games is trying to change it. At first, their plan was to make all the skins rated E one way or another. Um, like take off weapons or change weapons or whatever. But at the same time, that gets fishy when you're doing with like rated R properties like Rick Grimes or Deadpool or things that kids shouldn't be. They shouldn't know anyway. So there really is no solid way to do this. I know they're trying, but it doesn't matter. The fact is that the idea was even there in the first place, and they've changed the game so much compared to what it used to be. For a while, I stopped playing Fortnite after the first couple of years because I feel like the game was always changing. You didn't have time to. Nothing about it felt like I was playing the same game that I once was. And, you lose that sense of being an original player. There's always something new. Um, I think there's just stupid things, and Epic Games is known for doing ridiculous updates and changing. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's not Epic's game philosophy. Fix everything is their philosophy. For some reason, you can't ready up after games now. I don't know if this is. I still don't know if this is a glitch or if they just straight up took it out. But what the heck, Epic? What do you?
yeah,
I
like you
know
can't.
they know how these things are going to go over with the audiences. I know there's a conversation like this isn't going to go over well. What are they expecting? I don't understand. I'm just trying to get in the head of the creators over at Epic.
I don't know, man. The creators over Epic are too focused on Fall Guys and Among
Yeah.
Us.
And this
Okay.
comes, by the way, restricting the skins you can use in experiences comes just 2 weeks after they raised the prices of V-Bucks, which just feels so crazy to me. Feels crazy. Like I said, marketing, being able to market yourself better kind of rules this world. And I think we've done it here on the podcast. Like we have done a lot of different things to market ourselves as we've kind of like didn't just want to be a Marvel pop culture podcast. So we went into other territory. It's my point is it's all about marketing yourself. And sometimes that takes away from the audience's experience. And I think
And
if
it's like
yeah,
Fortnite. Everything that you post at the same time, like if you look at every single Fortnite post, in the corner, literally the T pops up every time. I don't know if they're gonna get more to like posting more E content, but it's simply just like it's always T T T T T. So it's like, who are you marketing to? It's like you're marketing towards mainly teens. Why are you catering towards like like a player base that's already been playing your game? At this point, the people who are growing up and downloading it are like, they're fine. Okay, I promise you. I promise
yeah,
you, these kids are okay.
I one of my biggest pet peeves is when development studios, it happens a lot in the Call of Duty world as a COD player. They are so focused on catering to new players that they leave the old players in the dust, and that's a big problem in video games. And I think this whole idea of marketing too, we do have to bring it back to Marvel for a second. We do it because we also have to talk about Loki a little bit. So I will say the idea of marketing is something that I think kind of goes into the whole franchise thing. It's a thing that these big studios have a problem with is like building up to the idea of a future. Nowadays, there's always a future to something. You can't just be in the moment. And like Marvel's big problem is their marketing the potential of Avengers Secret Wars, Avengers King Dynasty, all these big things. So you're always getting build up. You can't just live in the moment. But it's hard because with Marvel, we don't even know if the future is going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with the whole Jonathan Majors situation. But anyways, I would like to rewind just a second and just like give final thoughts on these things and give our ratings because we never give ratings on this show, which is fair. I feel like we are very open ended about the conversations we have. We talk about the positives and the negatives, but I think we owe people like a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We said we enjoy it, but for me, the Marvels is Really fun. I love the trio of characters. Aman Vellani is the face of the MCU. She's awesome. She's great as Kamala. Her family is fun.
Amon
They
Vellani is
went.
also my wife, by the way.
I don't think you could just claim her like that.
I can, and I
Iman
have.
Vellani, come on the podcast. We're still in
Please.
our Olivia Rodrigo phase too. Don't worry,
Yeah,
we're
but
still there.
I've loved you for a while, Amon Vellani.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
maybe you can shoot your shot when she's on the
Olivia
podcast. But
Rodrigo will be pushed to the side. Okay.
I'll I'll take Olivia. You can have. Anyways, Miss Marvel is awesome, and Captain Marvel they moved in a different direction with. She has more fun here. I think Brie Larson gets to do more here. I think she needed this team dynamic. I
And I
think
love it because this like I remember I think it was last episode where I said Ms. Marvel was in this in her own show, and I gave her like the overall rating for in the MCU was a 7, and it's definitely boosted her up more.
yeah,
I just feel like her light and everything, it kind of like she shines like a lot in this movie, especially with the start of it. Like, you know, it didn't strip her of anything. Like that whole entire notebook animation style of her meeting Captain Marvel and all of that seemed so
yeah.
on point, and I absolutely loved it. And I absolutely love the way she portrays and
They
takes on this character. And slowly, just how she is my favorite character for the comics, she's becoming my favorite character in the MCU. And
yeah,
I hope this continues, and I hope everything just keeps going down this path because she's amazing. Like honestly, the energy that she brings to everything is just great. It's lovely.
absolutely. They did a fantastic job bringing the Miss Marvel world to life. They're fun together. There is so much more that could have been done. It's an hour and 45 minutes. It feels like a sequel to years of Captain Marvel storytelling that we haven't gotten yet. It feels like a lot of different movies in once because it is kind of three different characters in one movie. There's so much going on. I thought it would be more of a follow up to Secret Invasion for sure, but this Nick Fury in this movie is not the same Nick Fury that we saw at the end of Secret Invasion. They just decided to retcon everything that he went through, I guess, for this, and that brings us to another conversation about connectivity and how the characters just exist as whatever they want them to exist at. But I think the changes were good and bad. I enjoyed Nick Fury. I enjoyed Captain Marvel in this movie, even though they feel like entirely different individuals than what we know. I think that was just for the betterment, the entertainment of the movie. There's lots of flirkins. There's lots of cats in this movie. So cat people, if you want a movie to go see, go check it out. Uh, Tom Hiddleston's wife plays the villain. She's
You know, I
solid.
thought
She's a solid actress.
she
I
was a
will
solid
say.
actress. I do think that the villain for this
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's she's
movie
the
was
character
very
sucks.
lackluster. It
You said it
genuinely
in a
didn't.
nicer way than I did. Lackluster. I like that.
Because
Yeah.
this like she was not hitting on what she should have hit on. I mean, you're telling me your world like you know she had the emotion, but your world was stripped of its natural resources that is your God-given right by a person who was one of you who just swooped in and took everything from you, right? I'm gonna get into that whole like Captain Marvel rebirthing the sun in a minute, but um you know, it's just like you get all of this and it just didn't like there was just not enough depth for me to like truly understand. I didn't even fully understand like what happened on that planet. She just explained that the AI was destroyed and she thought that would make things better, but it made it worse. How? Please somebody
And
explain to me.
I really honestly think that that's also at fault of it being such a fast movie. We didn't get to explore that enough. We didn't. There was so much more of a story to be told with the villain, with the context of this entire situation, and we just didn't get that. It all just kind of happened. Everything
And then
happened
she
so fast.
just dies. She rips a hole in the universe and dies. Like
And
you
there was
why
a
do
whole
you
like moment in the movie dedicated to her like being good again. And Captain Marvel was like, "Yeah, like we could save your planet together." And then she just tries to kill him again, and it just doesn't go well. And then it's
and
over. That
so
was the end of that story.
and so that point, Captain Marvel, you have intergalactic beef. I'm talking multiple people hate you. Okay, and I know it's not just her, and I know it's not a large chunk of the scrolls. Okay, you legitimately have have ruined people's lives. All right, and you're for in a second you didn't think, hey, maybe maybe I can try to do something to fix this. All right, maybe I can try to do something to get this whole thing figured out. No, but she just flies through the sun and automatically it's back and great at it. It's just I'm so confused on how that wasn't a point that crossed her mind at all during this time, but whatever. So be it.
All in all, I just want to ask you, what is your final score out of 10 for the Marvels? For me personally, I'm going 7. I think that's fair. I had a good
Hmm.
time. There were things I liked, things I didn't like. It's not going to
I'll give
save the
it,
MCU, but it's not
yeah,
terrible.
I'll give it a 7.5.
Yeah, fair enough.
I definitely, yeah, I enjoyed it. Thought it was
Brings our
good.
total fragmented score to 14.5. I did that math quick. I'm so good at math. Which I think
Mm-hmm.
is a fair score. I also would like to point out, I think this is an important thing to say, that a lot of the hate that this movie is getting, it's hard to criticize the real details of this movie because a lot of the hate that it's getting, a lot of the reasons people are like, no one wants to watch this, we're not going to see this movie, is because it's woke, which is just a word that's stupid at this point. It's thrown around whenever there's women on screen or there's people of color on screen. It's woke. It's a woke movie. It's very the wokeness is keeping Marvel dead. No, that's sorry,
There was no
but
like,
that is
there was no woman power scene in this movie. There was no none of that. A couple lines here and there, but all in all, that was um uh just a thing. And for that whole queer baiting thing with Valkyrie, that was I don't even know where to begin on that because it was weird, and I don't even think it's a conversation because we do kind of have to move on. I
yeah,
don't even think it's a conversation that we can have,
yeah.
but
But
it's just we know that Valkyrie is bisexual. Okay, that's a information that I feel like was readily known to people. Okay,
right,
and for um for like like for Captain Marvel and all that, I just think that there's just a certain environment and tone around it, and I don't think any of it was done on purpose or with that intent of pushing it towards there because it wasn't even used in marketing standpoint. I genuinely just think that it's a thing that might have been one-offed. Okay.
absolutely, um, absolutely. And I mean, I think that's kind of a lot of things in Marvel are kind of just one-offs at this point. Will we ever see this play out to anything bigger? Probably not. I'm excited for the future with Marvel content and just superhero content in general. We're getting a lot of good stuff in 2024, 2025. Invincible's going on right now. We're about to get What If and then Echo. Um, and then James Gunn's DC verse kicks off in 2025, and that's in the works. So much good stuff. And also, we just got Loki season 2. We can't have another massive conversation right now because there's so much I want to talk about still. But like, I will ask. I will give us each like a minute to just share thoughts on Loki season 2. I think we've talked about it amongst ourselves. Everyone's talked about it. It's been long enough now where we don't really have to have a huge conversation. For me, Loki is what Marvel can be. Tom Hiddleston, obviously, really passionate about this character. I've loved hearing him over the past week share his stories from this experience and talk about playing this character. And you see his passion here. And I'm glad he got to, even if this isn't the end of his story, it felt like the end of a journey, a part of that journey. And I'm glad he got to do that. Loki is something special. It is visually amazing. The storytelling is genius. They build a world that really shouldn't make much sense, and it doesn't at times. But you feel the stakes. You are sucked into it, and that all ends with a huge finale. And it's hard to really believe in the future because of the whole Kang situation. Because Marvel's built up a lot of stuff that hasn't come into fruition, but for what Loki season 2 was, it was beautiful. I felt like my soul was genuinely touched by the experience that was Loki season 2. This is the only show that could get away with 2 seasons in a row, bringing you on a journey and then undoing it all in the very end. It's a constant full circle with Loki, and the fact that they get away with that is impressive. I give Loki season 2 a 9. I'm very high on it. What about you?
Personally, for me, I give Loki a 10 out of 10, specifically for that last episode, because I think that it just embodies like that last episode was genuinely the most perfect writing that I think I could have ever witnessed for something. I mean, down to like the T. I love this sort of writing style of just like franticness of like um accumulative of people just like learning and going back and forth. And I can't really put it into words, but like the combination of humor and sadness and depth and storytelling, it all came down, and it's not on purpose, and I can't give it credit for that, but this is really the wrap up of this entire story for Tom Hiddleston and like where he got to at this point. Like this is literally what Loki as a character was always going to build up to, and it always needed to get here. And I think they perfectly embodied that, from using lines for all the way back in Thor 1, um and just having callbacks to certain things, having callbacks to the own show itself, and having Loki fully embrace this hero and non-selfish, but also selfish at the same time standpoint is amazing. And honestly, I could not have think of a better ending. I couldn't have thought of anything greater, and all of it put together just was amazing, down to
Yeah.
Mobius and every other thing written. So
Yeah,
that's just my quick opinion.
a little treat for those of you watching on video, the cameo from Zoni the clownfish. Anyways, I we do talk about it. We do talk about it, but I feel like it's not really our punch on the podcast that gets people hooked. But I will say we are filmmakers. We are aspiring filmmakers. We've been in acting classes together for a long time, and now we're taking a new journey. And I think when we see stuff like this, for me, I'm sure for you too, it's just like I want to do something like this one day because this is what storytelling can be. And I think personally for me, inspiration, when something is inspiring, it goes high on my list. I mean, we got a whole new purpose or whole new meaning of glorious purpose. I mean, he started off wanting a throne out of spite of humanity, and in the end, he took a throne to save humanity that he didn't want. And that's beautiful. What have you done for the world? Loki sacrificed himself. He's going to be alone forever. What have you done for the world, Justin?
What have I done for the world?
Yeah, nothing compared to that. You
Man,
better get
apparently not.
going.
I know.
Uh, okay, so last thing on the menu today. Speaking of menu, Thanksgiving is this week, just a couple of days from now. And I love Thanksgiving. I love stuffing my face. Are you excited, Justin?
I am excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do a little Thanksgiving edition of Top Two, Bottom Two. That's right. We're bringing it back. First off,
One moment.
uno momento. Uno momento. He paused. So while Justin is away, I will serenade you guys with a performance of um, one of my favorite Thanksgiving songs, Get 'Em Back by Olivia Rodrigo. I wanna get him back. I wanna make him real jealous. Wanna make him feel bad. I want sweet revenge. I want him again. There you go. I thought that was really beautiful. Anyways, we're doing I'll just start. We're doing top two, bottom two Thanksgiving foods first. Because, yeah, Thanksgiving is all about being thankful, sharing memories with your family. But the most important part is what's on the dinner table. Okay, this year I'm just chilling with my family. We're catering Thanksgiving this year because it's just too much work. But let's talk about the ups and downs. We've got a lot of experience. We're fat boys. We're your favorite fat nerds on the internet. We know Thanksgiving, okay? So, first off for me, my top 2, mac and cheese. Okay, because someone always makes homemade mac and cheese on Thanksgiving. Somehow there's always mac and cheese and it always hits different every single time. It's never bad. And number 2, I'm a big dessert guy. My family always makes banana pudding. I love banana pudding with the classic bananas, vanilla wafers, whipped cream. Banana pudding hits so hard. I'm about to make people mad with my bottom 2, though, okay? My bottom 2 Thanksgiving foods. Number 1, any kind of casserole, sweet potatoes, green beans, whatever other kind of casserole exists. That's just so disappointing. Don't bring me casserole. Okay, it's also just a stupid word, casserole. but second, uh, the main event, the big guy, the tribal chief of the Thanksgiving dinner table, the head of the turkey. Okay, I'm not saying I'm a turkey hater. I'm not a certified turkey hater. I'm just saying that there is not a single day outside of Thanksgiving that I even think about wanting turkey or want to go through the process because no one even really knows how to cook a turkey. It's always dry. You always get a dry, flavorless turkey. Sometimes it's good, but it's a lot of work to get to that final product of that turkey. And then you get it and you're tired afterwards because turkey literally scientifically has a thing in it that makes you tired, which is just that seems like it should be illegal. That's crazy. Why has turkey become the symbol of Thanksgiving? I remember the first time I ever saw wild turkeys in like nature. I was like, man, they're so cool. They're so the turkeys are so cool. Save the turkeys, okay? Turkey. I think we're past the turkey Thanksgiving. No one even likes turkey. I think we've just convinced ourselves that turkey is a good meat. But like, sorry, I said I wasn't a turkey hater, and I went really hard on turkey, but it's not that good. Okay, it's
I'm a
just too much
turkey
work.
hater though. I'm not. I'm
Nice.
not. I don't like turkey. I can't get behind it. I won't get behind it ever. It's just it's never on my plate on Thanksgiving, and every year someone's trying to put a sliver on there saying this one's different, and it never is. It's never actually different. It's always the same. It's always dry to me, and I can't get behind it. So yeah, that's in my bottom 2 as well. Top 2 is just like macaroni and ham. It's
Right.
just like
Right.
there's something about ham each year.
Honey
I
baked? Are we
love it.
talking like honey baked here, or
Yeah.
any? Yeah, like ham is just ham should be what turkey is on Thanksgiving. I'd rather have a couple of good juicy slices of ham on my plate.
hmm And it's so sad that like it groceries just get more expensive every year, man. Wait till we have to host Thanksgiving one year and we're just like in mounds of debt
I'm calling
because we had
Cracker
to buy a
Barrel.
turkey.
uh,
Honestly, yeah, no, at that point we can get a Popeyes Cajun turkey.
Because I try, if anyone ever asks me to host Thanksgiving, I promise you, the one thing I will not be making is a turkey. Someone else better provide the turkey because I'm not going through that. I don't want to. Okay, what's the other thing in your bottom 2? Because you said turkey.
Yeah, honestly, bottom 2, and this is like a kind of like weird accumulative, but I can't I just like can't get behind like certain people's dinner rolls, okay?
I was
E-
I was going to
Every
put that on here. I
year,
absolutely.
okay? Like I wish we could just get Texas Roadhouse dinner rolls and I could just live my life in peace like that. But I can't. No, it's always these dry, ashy dinner rolls for reasons I don't know why, but it's just like
Yeah, it's those dinner rolls that feel like sandpaper. Like it's just dinner rolls can make the entire experience better. And it's so disappointing when you just have a bad dinner roll.
Hmm.
What
And
about
it's just filling. It's just like, you put it on your plate, and like your dinner roll has to be fluffy and good. But I'm biting into it, and it's like a mouthful of bread. Like I'm just genuinely, like I'm chewing on it for like a decade. I'm like,
what about
no.
pies? Are you a pie guy?
I like pie. I can get behind a pie. People keep
Yeah.
trying to give me pie. People keep like, I don't know. It's just because like as big boys, people always try to like feed you stuff. But
Yeah, I will.
if I want
I will
pie, I'm
mess up
gonna
a
get
pie.
pie. And if I don't want pie, I'm not gonna get pie. So
I know this year my family got a huge pumpkin pie. Like I got home one day. They were like, "Hey, check out this pumpkin pie we got. This is a pumpkin pie for like 50 people. I'm telling you, this thing is huge. It takes up our entire freezer." I'm like, "We don't need this pie, okay? I'm on a fitness journey, all right? This is too big of a pie." But I also know that at the end of Thanksgiving on Thursday, I'm gonna be throwing up from all the pie and deliciousness that I've consumed. Okay, a quick round, rapid fire. Top two, bottom two turkey names. If you had a pet turkey, what would you name this turkey? Personally, for me, okay, there's going to be a lot of human names here because I think turkeys just really go well with human names. Steve. Steve is a great name for a turkey. Absolutely. Uh, Number two, Hector Guerrero. Don't ask me questions. Wrestling fans, you'll understand the reference. Can't forget the gobbledygooker. Okay, and then bottom two, Justin is a terrible name for a turkey. I would just think about you every single time I looked at my pet turkey if its name was Justin, and it would make me laugh a little bit thinking about you as a turkey. But at the same time, I don't want to name my turkey Justin. Okay, imagine you said, "Hey, you want to meet Justin?" and it's a turkey. That'd be just not fun. And then McStuffin, okay, because I've seen a turkey named McStuffin before, and that feels very insensitive to the turkey. That feels like it should be a crime. How do you think the turkey feels about the name McStuffin? Okay, what about you?
top two names, I think I have to go with Gilbert and Jeremy. I think those two names just embody um a turkey. I think if you think of a turkey, you think of that. And like if I said, "Do you want to meet Jeremy?" You're not thinking of a dog. You're not thinking of a cat. You're not thinking of a cow. No, you're thinking of a turkey.
What a
Um,
what a reflection of our
and they're
roles
coming
in
out.
this. What a
And
reflection of our roles in this friendship. The fact that you put my name in the top two, and I was like, Justin is a terrible name for a turkey.
then my bottom two, honestly, Jessica, um, and Ashley. I don't know why you would ever name a turkey that. That's just
Jessica and
far.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Bro just hates female names. You
No,
just
I
won't name
don't.
a
Literally,
turkey.
no. I'm saying, right. Those are two like beautiful of names for you to be naming a turkey that, and it's just you're not gonna do that.
I wish I've been looking before we started recording. We started late because I was looking for a turkey hat. I know I have a turkey hat. I wanted to wear a turkey hat for this episode. Couldn't find it. I'll find it eventually. I might have to wear it next week just for the fun of it. Couldn't find it, but yeah, we have a lot of cool content coming up in December as we get to the holiday season. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. I'm sure more crazy chaos will inspire. Hopefully, Justin stays healthy and on his feet for the whole time. Um, Next week,
And
then
stay
next
tuned.
episode will be my birthday episode,
It will.
actually. So yeah,
December
we
2nd,
then we are in the
Jeremy's
holidays, and
birthday.
we'll have a
But
special guest in
beat,
December as well.
but
So
stay
that's fun.
tuned, okay?
Yeah.
Stay really tuned because make sure. I know if you're listening to this on Spotify, you're just
Hey,
listening
you
to it,
can't
but
say Spotify. We can't say
the Green
Spotify.
app. But
The green listening app.
please, because we're not gonna be. This is not gonna be like a listening moment. It's gonna be purely a video on the Red app. So make sure you're subscribing over there because me and Jeremy are in the fourth annual year of our Bake Off, our Christmas Bake Off. Okay, and we're gonna be filming, posting, and just doing a lot of stuff with that, getting pictures,
Dun
everything,
dun dun.
the
It's
whole
gonna be a
nine
good
yards.
one.
So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that because we'll be
And
posting it on the Fragmented Zone.
and for early access, make sure to check out Patreon and join our Discord as well. Let's
Hmm.
end it off with a question because I, for one, am very thankful. I love doing this podcast. I'm thankful for the opportunity to let my creative muscles out. I'm thankful that we're still here going into a new year and all the opportunities that are on the horizon. And I ask you, Justin, to close us out. What are you thankful for?
This year, um, I would say that I am thankful for the position I am to be as comfortable as I am, um, in my like own home. Just being able to sleep and eat and just in peace and solidarity. Like, as much as the amount of bad things that happen to me, it doesn't compare to some of the stuff that happens around the world. And we always just take time to be grateful for who you are. I'm also grateful for you, Jeremy, because I talk to you every day. um and I like, I've it's been a long journey of friendship, but I would say that, like, my life would definitely be boring and not where it is if it hadn't been for you. And I like the road that I'm on. So
That was
much
really
appreciation.
that was really nice. It's really
Mm.
nice. We're actually sometimes we pretend that we're not friends on this show, but we are. We're best friends, and we have a great. We're we're happy to be here and doing this. Thank you guys for your support. It got deep there at the end, but I hope you took away from that because that was a really important message about cherishing your chance to be here and be doing what you're doing. So we love you guys. Justin, I love you. Mwah. Zoni the clownfish, I love you too. And we'll see you guys on the other side.
Deuces.